Gautam Singhania is a name that brings to mind a man who is ruled by his passions and his unbridled love for high-speed performance vehicles. It's this very same passion that fuels his unquenchable thirst for speed and sends him to all parts of the world to test his skills to the limits so that he can push himself further and faster to the very edge of his endurance.
Well, I think since childhood, I've always been passionate about cars, and I think it's something that grew over a period of time. At the age of 4, I had a go-kart, and I used to drive that around, and I think it was just a natural progression from there to Fiats, Marutis, and then all the way up to better and more exciting things. And slowly, I pursued my passion for motorsport. I did a lot of training outside. So whether it was track cars or drifting or rallying, one kept pursuing at it at whatever level one could. Over the last couple of years, I've just decided to get a little more serious about my motorsport, which I'm enjoying.
Well, in many ways, in the automotive or racing format, he's been a pioneer, whether being the founder chairman of the Supercar Club, being the first Indian to go drifting in Malta, which was about 2 months ago. We did a drive to Leh Ladakh from sea level to 18,500 feet up. We did driving on ice at temperatures of -40 degrees, and all this, believe it or not, in 2012.
This summer I did a test in the Ferrari 458 GT3 at Rockingham. I worked with an ex-F1 driver, and it went off extremely well. Following that pursuit, one has decided that if one can get good seat time and get some good practice time, maybe one can race next year in Europe in the Challenge Series. I think it'll be a great opportunity to put India's name on the map in the GT racing and the Challenge Cup. It's something I always wanted to do and something that I'm extremely passionate about, so that's where this is all going.
The name Ferrari conjures up images of racing legends and machines who have long graced the annals of motorsport history.
Now, running that car is more like running an F1 car. There's lots that goes into it. The car is extremely low. Of course, it's more like a GT3 car, purpose-built for the track by Ferrari. The car finally came down. We fixed the date at the Buddh circuit, forgot them to test. We had the team come down from FF Corse in the UK. We had Manik and Sirish from Race Tech supporting us. And it was my job to just put the entire thing together and make sure everything comes together. We do the entire setup and we're ready for Gautam to do the entire testing.
This is a story of what happened one beautiful November weekend when the prancing horse and the Indian tycoon got together and put the pedal to the metal at the Buddh International Circuit.
Setting up a car is very important, and what better place than to do it on a Formula One circuit. So I think he's excited. We are definitely excited to have him over here. He's going to be putting in quite a few laps between today and tomorrow. I'm proud to say that this is probably the best surface in the world today. The asphalt is not the regular asphalt that you find on the road, and I think we would be very happy if we played a small little part contributing to the success that he will have when he races abroad.
The Buddh International Circuit, a brand spanking new addition to the F1 calendar, the pride and joy of the country, the second fastest track on the circuit, and technically one of the best in the world. What better place could we find to put the 458 challenge to the test but right here in our own backyard?
We are here today to look after his new car, the 458 Challenge. Something which started as a hobby for him, but now we're entering a phase where it's moved on from just a hobby and into something which is a little more professional, a lot more serious. and we are here supporting him in terms of logistics, in terms of track support. Everything he needs for running the car is being done by us now.
When you attempt any sport, skill is one thing, but it's the team effort. I think it's the whole team that comes to the table, and I'm really grateful to my team that was there. They take a lot of stress out of you, that helps you to focus on the driving. So a driver is an important part of it, but I think the whole setup of the car that's done by the team, the mechanics, everybody makes you feel comfortable. You have to address this with complete discipline and really, go out there and give it your best.
These cars are so technical nowadays. We have to manage so many different systems on the car. We have to manage the fuel and the tires as well. And in addition to doing all of this, we've got data acquisition systems on the car, so we can actually see what the car is doing at any point on the track. I think we've sort of exceeded our expectations.
The car comes from Ferrari as a standard challenge car. With no aero, it looks very much like a road car. Like a road car with bigger wheels. That's normally what it looks like. We in FF Course changed the aero pack of the car, we changed the suspension geometry. We do some tweaks to engines and gearboxes, but it's mostly aero related. Just give him a minute. The aero on the car is tuned to run for GT spec, which makes the car handle a lot quicker around corners. The car is set up by Dan every time to handle specifically best under braking. We give a lot of emphasis to how much the car performs in braking. There's a lot to gain on the Ferraris under braking. All the gains we make actually on track are not in acceleration, are in braking zones.
This is only the second time I was driving the track. First time I had driven only 10 laps. Go and learn the track. Progressively build it up. You don't want to do something and land up in the wall and ruin a full 2-day test session. That was the objective. So what we did was, we started off and in the first few laps we were doing 217. Slowly, progressively built it up. And what that means is really starting to brake 10 feet later and 10 feet later and trying to see if the car's going to grip. Understanding the grip levels on the car, understanding the braking on the car. Slowly learning the track, finding the better line, learning the line, and progressively we pushed and pushed and pushed. I think we came to a point where it was then 206 and we sort of plateaued out at 206, 207 on day one. And we were not able to push below 206 because it was getting dark, I was getting tired. Day one was exhausting after 80, 85 laps, 90 laps. Went back home in the evening, reflected a lot in my mind as to which corners I could start playing around with a little bit more. And because you've got telemetry in this car and you've got immediate timing, every lap it tells you your time. It tells you your split times in intermediate 1 and intermediate 2. And what that does for you, it tells you that whatever inputs you're making in real time at the end of the lap, it tells you did it help or did it not help. And then you can sort of, say this was a right move or a wrong move.
The fact that he's come into this weekend never having driven this car, doing 80 odd laps yesterday, I think is absolutely stunning. That's like almost double what, or 1.5 times an F1 race distance, which is incredible for somebody who's a gentleman driver. I'm very, very, very positively stunned, I should say, for the consistency and also for his endurance.
We did the fastest lap of 203.22. What pleased me even more is that towards the end of the second day session, I was taking somebody out for a ride, and he must have been 100 kilos. And I just decided to push the last couple of laps, and I think I did 203.44 with a 100 kilo passenger in the left seat, which means that we could have easily done a 202. High 202 would have been possible, and I think that's my next target. I'm extremely elated by a 2-day test session at Buddh. It was just, Buddh is a fantastic circuit. I really enjoyed myself there.
Well, I feel what he set out to do or what he set out to achieve, he quite surpassed it quite easily.
You get in somebody to see what he's doing, they'll think that he's a professional race driver, not a guy running a big business empire.
You have to be physically really fit to like sit down and go through that. I mean, your body takes a toll, it's not easy. I sat with him on the track, I had the pleasure of sitting with him. It was amazing in terms of the way he drives. He's a professional driver. I mean, he can get into any race, and I'm sure he'll be in the top 3 for sure.
Yeah, I generally believe that this car is one of the best I've driven in the 458 challenges. Ferrari are legends, and I think it's a phenomenal car. I wish we had these cars 30 years ago. I mean, if we as Indians had cars like this to practice on 30 years ago, with the kids have opportunities today, I'm sure India would have produced much better drivers, and the level is completely different. I don't think you can ever compare a Fiat or Maruti anywhere close to what we're driving here. This is a different level, it's a global level, and when you drive cars like this, there's only one word that comes to my mind for brands like Ferrari is respect. I mean, I respect them tremendously. I'm a hardcore Ferrari guy, and I can just only understand where Ferrari gets its name from. It's pure respect, and you got to respect the cars, you got to drive them with respect, and the more respect you give them, they give you. And I think it's a win-win combination. The car and driver tango together.
Taking into account all the factors involved, the driver, the car, the track, the high-end precision engineering, and just the sheer skill required to tame this particular beast, it's safe to say that after conquering the challenges of driving sideways in Malta, Gautam Singhania can now say that by recording the fastest lap at the Buddh International Circuit in a non-F1 car, he is the champion of circuit racing as well.